All right, guys. Well, after last week talking as much as we did about strength of schedule in Action PC football, I think it's time to run a test. Just so you're aware here, we'll go over here to this screen view. Just so you're aware, we're with the 2022 edition of Action PC football. I haven't purchased the 2023 edition. I'm going to wait till the 2024 one comes out. So what I've done here is I took UTEP from 1980. I basically just imported the two different versions of UTEP. They have a schedule strength of 2 listed here, and we're going to do a couple of experiments here and see what happens when we change that. This isn't going to necessarily be like completely statistically valid or anything like that. We're just going to do this really quick and kind of see what comes up, and we'll probably run this test a couple of times. So if you look here at the schedule that we have UTEP playing against UTEP. We have them playing against each other 10 times, 5 at home, 5 away for both teams. We're going to make this just like as simple as we possibly can, and just have the computer go through and play through it. We'll look at it first with the teams on equal strength of schedule, and then we'll make a couple changes and see what impact it has. So here we go. All right, here we go again. Sorry for the sort of sudden change from one scene to another. I've gone through one iteration of playing through the season, and we'll take a quick look at this here. So go back over here, and we'll see that, yeah, UTEP against UTEP ended up with a 5-5 record at the end of the season. That was pretty quick, and that's kind of what we expect to have happen. Let's see, how do I get out of this? Just click exit, and yep, you can see it was 5 wins, 5 losses for each team. Points scored for each team were just about the same, and the leading players are all the same players as you would expect. So that's really kind of what we were expecting. They were close games, as you would expect, having the same team playing against itself over and over and over again. So what we're going to do here in a second is we will restart it, and we'll try this again with slightly different settings. So hold on for that. Okay, here we are again. It took me a little while to figure out what to do to reset the season statistics, and as you can see, not everything here has been reset, but it sort of is the way that it is now. We're going to go back over here to our teams. Let's see if we can figure out where this is. Yeah, team information. We're going to go back to UTEP A. We're going to give them a schedule strength here of 5 instead of 2. So let's see what difference that's going to make. All we've changed is that we haven't changed any of the players. It's still the same players with the same internal ratings. Let's see what happens now. We went from 2 to 5 with one of the teams. All right, there we go. We've played through this season again. Now that I'm getting a better feel for what I'm doing, I can probably do this without having to stop the video so often. So UTEP A ended up winning 6 games and losing 4, and they scored a considerable higher number of points than UTEP B. Now, keep in mind, we're just doing a couple of really, really quick tests. This is probably not going to be statistically accurate for you, but you can see that it seems that there was a little bit of a boost for UTEP A going from strength of schedule rating 2 up to 5. So let's see what happens again when we go through. So we go to Tools, we go Reset the Statistics, and we just click on that, reset it, completed. And then we're going to go back over here to Organize Team Information, and we'll set their schedule strength over to 8. So you have schedule strength of 8 for UTEP A and 2 still for UTEP B. And let's see what happens. We'll play through the entire season, and we'll take a look and see what impact this has. Maybe it will have a good impact for them. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Look at that. UTEP B ends up winning 6 and losing 4. UTEP A goes 4 and 6. Interesting. So this might tell us that the strength of schedule might not necessarily be as powerful as I once thought, which itself is a pretty interesting thing. UTEP A, and we'll go back here and look and just make sure, but yeah, UTEP A has a schedule strength of 8. B has a schedule strength of 2, but when they play against each other that time, at least, UTEP A did not get the better of the matchups. In fact, UTEP B did outscore them in the end. So let's try one more time and sort of see what we can figure out. We'll go ahead, we'll reset all the league statistics again. And I do have to say, again, more editorial comment from me, but the way that Action PC Football is set up, where you have to go to change that stuff, is really a pain in the neck. It would be nice if the menus made sense. They don't make much sense. So we'll go over here. Strength of schedule is 10 now for UTEP A. UTEP B is still set at 2. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if it's close or not. We'll play through all games and just do it automatically and see what happens. And UTEP B is dominating this performance. That's interesting. UTEP B this time goes 9-1 against 1-9 for UTEP A. And ends up outscoring the opposition by a very, very large margin, which is kind of the opposite of the impact I figured that this would have. We'll go through one more iteration of this test, just sort of to see what happens this time around. This time, we're going to push down UTEP B one more. So we'll reset this. There we go. Back to organized team information. Again, I'm not changing anything else. We're not changing anything about the teams or their structure or anything like that. In theory, these two teams playing against each other should be completely equal, right? And the only difference is the strength of schedule. So we'll play again through all games and sort of see what happens. And the teams went 5-5 again. Interesting. So that's interesting to see because I'm not sure that I'm seeing that changing a strength of schedule for one team or another is having necessarily an outsized impact. I mean, we can play through this one more time. Again, this is with one team with the highest possible strength of schedule, the other team with the lowest possible strength of schedule. Now, as I understand how this game works, there's no difference. In other words, like the game is not going to be able to tell that it's kind of bizarre that they both have the same schedule and one team has a higher strength of schedule than the other one. There's not really like a mechanism within the game to tell you that this doesn't make sense, right? We'll try it one more time and sort of see what happens as they play against each other again. And this time, UTEP A goes 6-4 and ends up scoring a slight number of points more than the opposition. And so we can see that strength of schedule seems to have some sort of impact here, but it's not having like a tremendous impact on the difference between the teams. This would be interesting to try again if you're looking at using teams that are completely different and sort of trying to figure out what the right setting is to get them even out. I kind of want to do this one more time and just see for the last time what happens, since we've had pretty interesting results. We could, if we wanted to be really scientific about it, instead of having a 10-game schedule, we could come up with like a 100-game schedule or a 1,000-game schedule or something. Unfortunately, Action PC Football Scheduler is not much fun to use. And here for what's going to be our last attempt, UTEP A again won 6 games and lost 4 and slightly outscored the opposition. So pretty interesting how that works. I'm not seeing, again, a lot of evidence of what I thought I would see, which is that the strength of schedule would give a certain team a like major boost if everything else was held equal. Instead, what I'm seeing is that there seems still to be a lot of randomization going in. It was interesting stuff. I'd love to hear what the rest of you think and what you guys have experienced when you've played around with strength of schedule and Action PC Football. I mean, have you seen having a different strength of schedule for different teams? Have you seen an outsized impact on the way that a project goes? Or are you seeing sort of like what I'm seeing here, which is that it doesn't really make a huge difference one way or another? And any sort of impact that it has might be window dressing, or it might just be completely random. Love to know what you guys think, and I'll talk with you again next week. Bye-bye.